Hello, Numa family. How are we doing? Let me start by saying that I would rather be singing in front of you right now, which a lot of you would probably say the opposite. You'd rather be talking than singing. But hi, Violet. Violet's going to join me. It's okay. My hope is that as I talk today, that you learn or are reminded of the goodness of God at display through his mercy, grace, and compassion in the story of the parable of the prodigal son. A little background on me. Like I mentioned, I've done worship a lot of my life, but never done this sort of thing. And so this story, the story of the prodigal son, it really resonated with me when I first started going to youth group. It was this story that really connected God to my heart, and my relationship started with him. I feel like when I was younger, I didn't have a prodigal story like this story I'm about to tell you, but I still feel like I really resemble the younger son in this story. So I'm talking about this story. What is this story? In Luke chapter 15, we hear Jesus is telling a story, a parable, to lost and church leaders. And this story is a story about a father and two sons. It's like my brother's two sons here. And in this story, the father is representing God, and then we represent one of two sons found in this story. The younger son in this story approaches his father, and he asks the father for his entire inheritance early, which would be almost like, asking to be disowned from your family. Like, give me everything you got, I want to go, is essentially what he came and did. And he did that. The younger son took his inheritance. He ran off with the money. He had a radical trip where he ended up with nothing. And so when the son was in his lowest of low, he woke up and he essentially looked in the mirror and said, I have nothing. I want to return back home to my father. I would rather be a servant than anything that I'm in right now. You want to come up? And then the son decided to return back to his father. And it says here in Luke chapter 15, verse 20, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. The father ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. So this is the father seeing the son running towards him, and instead of seeing the son running towards him, instead of him and ready to lecture him for all he had done, he runs towards his son. And this is a demonstration of mercy. He's not giving his son what he deserved. He's instead just loving him. He's running towards him, and this is the goodness of God on display. Later on, we read in verse 22, the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And so they began to celebrate. This is God's grace on display. The son didn't deserve anything. He didn't deserve to be welcomed back. He didn't deserve a celebration, but the father did that anyway. And this story, keep in mind, is Jesus telling this story to lost people and church leaders. This is Jesus telling these people, like, look at the Father's heart. It's filled with mercy. It's filled with grace. No matter where you are, you can come back home to the Father. No matter how much sin you've performed in your life, you can come back home and you'll be met by grace and mercy. That is the goodness of God. And like I mentioned, there's two sons in this story, and the older son actually continued to work at the father's home this entire time that his younger brother was out doing this crazy Vegas trip. So from his perspective, when his younger brother came home, he was mad. Like, why are we partying for my younger brother? Like, he just did what? Are you crazy? And I love the father's response to the angry older son. My son, the father said, you were always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. Okay, let me make this practical in 20 seconds. Jesus tells this story to everybody. It's for everyone. You can identify with either the son that went on that trip or the self-righteous older brother. Regardless of which, the Father's heart is clear in this parable. It's merciful, gracious, and compassionate. Whether you feel distant from God or close to God, he wants to welcome you home. How will you respond? Thank you.